Hey guys, welcome to the Virtual Rack Banquet Part 2. I will be going over the 10 and under boys and girls awards. Okay, so congrats to all of our 8 unders who have had their awards read so far. So we are now moving on to the 10s. Okay, so our first award for the 10 and under girls goes to a girl who was a really strong competitor. She would really push herself to the limit during practice and focus on technique that would make her faster for each race she swam, whether it was a dual meet or a USA meet. You could always find her cheering for her teammates and having a good time and having fun. And she was really always hungry to try new races at USA meets, setting goals for herself and always looking to get better. So at any USA meet, you would always see her talking to a coach, asking what her seat time was. She would set a goal for that specific race, and then she would actively go obtain that goal in the pool. So she qualified for the Junior Olympics in the 50 backstroke and the 50 free, and she hit all of her best times in every single event she swam this season. And I am happy to announce that this year's 10 and under girls MVP goes to Grace Frank. Okay, so Grace, congrats, very well earned. All right. Our next 10 and under girl is our 10 and under most improved. This swimmer was always looking for feedback from her coaches as well. She was looking to expand her events and diversify a little bit at USA meets. She was a great contribution to relays along with all of her individual events. There really wasn't a race that you couldn't just put her in that she couldn't excel in. You could find her always running and cheering on the pool deck for her teammates. Even if she was out of breath right after a race she had just swum, she would be actively cheering for her teammates at all points during the swim meet. At USA meets, she started to dabble with some longer events, including the 500 free. She also qualified for this year's Junior Olympics in the 50 breaststroke and went in with a seed time of 41:29. She definitely set personal goals for herself this year and has continued to put in hard work to obtain these goals. So this year's most improved 10 and under girl goes to Siobhan Tien. Great job, Siobhan. Moving on to our 10 and under girls coaches award. This was yet another strong competitor in her age group. She was an excellent practice swimmer and was always gathering feedback from her coaches to try and make herself better. She, I believe, favored fly, whether she's willing to admit it or not, but she was always looking to try new events as well. She dropped significant amounts of times in all of her events this season. She was a pleasure to watch grow, a supportive teammate, a hard worker all the time, meets, practice, you name it. And all of her coaches are so proud of her performances in and out of the pool this year. And this year's 10 and under girls award for the coaches award goes to Courtney Lamy. Great job, Courtney. All right, moving on to our boys. So we had a couple split decisions, so bear with me for the length of some of these snippets regarding their season. So we're going to start off with the 10 and under boys MVP as well, and this was one of the split decisions. Excuse me. This first boy is somebody who is a very natural but very quiet leader at practice. He was always on pace with an interval for a set. He always chose the more challenging practice option. He was always pushing himself to the limit. He was a supportive teammate. He did end up moving to bronze at the end of our season, and we'll miss him as a leader in red for sure. But he was always contributing to the success of the team, whether it was at swim meets or practice, and just being that natural leader. He had many highlights in his season this year and dropped time in several events. He dropped down to a 29.7 in his 50 free and a 106.25 in his 100 free at Champs this year, which was incredible. This year's most valuable swimmer goes to Ryan Wen. Great job, Ryan. So as I mentioned, we do have 2 MVP awards. So now I'll talk about the second swimmer who earned this award. He was always a pleasure to coach at practice. He's polite. He comes in with a smile on his face. He's a great leader at practice and a supportive teammate. He excelled during our dual meets, our USA meets, and he was always trying new events. He hit personal best times in every event he swam this year. At Champs, he swam the 50 free with a time of 30.9. In his 100 free, he dropped down to a 109.26. In his 50 backstroke, he swam a 36.49. He also qualified for JOs in the 50 back, 200 free, 50 fly, 100 free, 100 back, and 50 free. And he was also a part of both the 200 free and 200 medley relay. So he, without a doubt, set goals for himself this season and completely crushed them. So we're really proud to announce that our second MVP this year goes to Logan Bernabeo. Great job, Logan. All right, so for our most improved award, we also have two male swimmers for the 10 and under boys. So it's kind of a hard decision, but both I think were really good picks for this year. So our first swimmer was one that would come onto the pool deck and he would always just kind of make his teammates and coaches laugh. He always had a unique sense of humor, but when it came to time to really get down to business, he really did work hard. And it showed, during all of his events this season, during practice, he started to really step it up. Even though he would probably say he hated to kick during practice, he eventually really did make it a strong suit of his. And it definitely showed in his underwaters as well as during close races. This boy always brought positivity to practice. He always seemed to be having fun, even if he would whine. But he qualified for JOs in the 50 free and was part of the 10 under free and medley relay at JOs as well. He won his personal best times this season in the 50 free, 50 fly, and 100 IM. And we can't wait to see how much more he has in store for the future. So our first most improved goes to Cole Cosgrove. Awesome job, Cole. All right, so our second award winner for the most improved award goes to a swimmer who always seemed to have his eyes on the prize. He had a great mix of, time to be serious and time to have fun, and he really just had his eyes on the prize the whole season. So I have to say, he must have signed up for almost every USA meet that he could make. He maxed out in all the events he could sign up for. He was always looking for variety in his events, but really, really excelled in backstroke. I have to say, his underwaters were incredible, and he was always working to perfect them. He qualified for JOs in the 50 back, 100 back, 50 free, and was a part of the 200 free and medley relay. And he was a really strong addition to the boys' side this year. And I definitely can see his time continuing to drop in the future. So our second most improved award goes to Carter Brennan. Good job, Carter. All right, and our final award for the 10 and under age group, and specifically the 10 and under boys, goes to a swimmer who always was willing to try a variety of events. He ranged from trying the 500 free to the 100 back, to the 100 free, to the 2 IM, you name it. He wanted to try it. He wanted to, be really diverse in the events that he swam. He was another swimmer who hit almost all personal bests throughout the season. He was a leader in team cheers, always pushing his teammates and himself to be better, both in and out of the pool. The cheering is definitely a huge aspect of the swim world, so he was always trying to get kids together and rally a team cheer at the end of practice. He worked hard every day. He consistently worked for, feedback from coaches. He's always seeking, new technique improvements to make himself faster. He qualified for champs in the 100 free and the 50 fly. And this year's 10 and under coaches award goes to Nick Clegg. Great job, Nick. So, a couple reflections on this season. I know I specifically had the 10 and under age group, and like I already said in my Red Group Zoom and my YouTube video for Red Group specifically, just a really great season. Thank you to everybody at Radnor for kind of welcoming me back to, a team that I called home for so long. And I'm hoping that, even in the future, everybody's continues to set goals for themselves, whether you move on from Red Group and seeing me often at practice, I want you guys to really continue to set your goals. Make sure that you're being a supportive teammate. You know, you guys really put your heart and soul into this season, and I really appreciate, you know, the welcoming feeling and the atmosphere from everybody, not even just in Red Group, but really everybody was just kind of welcoming on the pool deck. So thank you so much for that. To the 9 and 10 group, great job. Congrats to all of our award winners so far. And keep watching the videos for the 12s, 13s, and opens for the rest of the week. All right, thanks, guys.